They were called unstoppable, unflappable, dominant beyond reason. These players possessed once-in-a-generation talent that awed fans and terrified opponents. But their jaw-dropping skills forced more than just the league to take notice. They demanded rule changes. Today, we're highlighting 7 transcendent NBA superstars who are so gifted, dominant, and game-breaking that the association had to intervene. Number 1. James Harden. James Harden's trade to the Houston Rockets unlocked offensive firepower the league had never witnessed. In his first season away from OKC, Harden nearly tripled his scoring, averaging a league-leading 27 points per game. His secret? Drawing fouls at a rate 3 times higher than even stars like LeBron. Is the move cementing Harden's dominance? Locking arms with defenders and hooking them in place to force whistleblows possession after possession. By the 2017 season, Harden had averaged 11 free throw attempts a night, 3 more than second-place Russell Westbrook. Entire defensive schemes were built around stopping his foul-drawing tactics. Finally, the NBA admitted limitations guarding his craftiness and instituted a rule bearing his namesake. The Harden rule meant players could no longer draw fouls by initiating contact or forcing space through locked limbs. Today, even slight brushes are let slide to prevent his expert manipulation. Yet Harden continues to find ways to push the limits, keeping the league on its toes. Number 2. Shaquille O'Neal. At 7 feet tall and 324 mammoth pounds, Shaquille O'Neal devastated defenses like few in league history. With strength beyond measure and agility belying his immense frame, Shaq bulldozed and powered through double and triple teams for over 19 seasons. But his dominance came with one tragic flaw: free throw shooting. Shaq left the rims rattling game after game, a paltry 52% foul shooter with no range outside 10 feet. Soon, opponents concocted the dreaded hack-a-Shaq, intentionally putting the big man on the line of possession after possession. This slowed contests to a crawl, with Shaq bricking 20 or even 30 freebies a night. Fans booed, players grew incensed, and games stretched past 3 hours. Finally, after Shaq burst into the commissioner's office, threatening violence unless changes came, the NBA adjusted the rulebook. In the final 2 minutes of quarters, off-ball fouls now yielded 1 free throw plus retained possession. A version of the hack-a-Shaq persists, but authorities finally admitted no one deserved Shaq's torturous trips to the stripe dozens of times a night. Number 3. ZAZA Pachulia. Few players have forced not 1, but 2 monumental rule shifts in the same season. But journeyman center ZAZA Pachulia first exposed cracks in the All-Star voting process before nearly derailing a superstar's playoff hopes months later. Pachulia's native Georgia organized mass voting drives in 2016, handing the unremarkable center nearly 1 million fan votes. Despite averaging 6 points per game, he nearly earned a starting All-Star nod over 25 point-per-game scorers. The NBA realized that fan voting alone led to undeserved recognition. Enter the ZAZA rule. From 2017 forward, fan ballots account for just 50% of starter selections, with player and media votes now accounting for the other half. ZAZA exposed the system's flaws. Now experts decide who truly deserves all-star starters. But his antics continued that same postseason. After Kawhi Leonard torched the Warriors for 26 first-half points in Game 1 of the conference finals, ZAZA slid under Kawhi's airborne legs. The Spurs star landed awkwardly, sustaining an ankle injury that ended his playoffs. The incident brought another rule named for ZAZA. Now reckless closeouts under shooters draw automatic flagrants and fines, even if incidental. Leonard's injury brought scrutiny to dangerous play. Just months after the All-Star vote overhaul, the NBA used ZAZA as a cautionary tale again. Number 4. Kelvin Durant. Destined for stardom, Kelvin Durant averaged 25 points per game at just age 20, extending his spidery 7'5" wingspan to become virtually unguardable for Oklahoma City. His gangly frame and silky shooting touch sieved defenses nightly, while another weapon went nearly undetected. Durant stealthily developed a tactic to leverage referees for extra points. On jumpers or dribble drives, he mastered the rip-through, purposefully swinging elbows and arms into defenders to draw contact, and earned 3 free throw attempts. Critics claimed refs bailed Durant out possession after possession. Finally, in 2010, the NBA eliminated an entire scoring play by outlawing the rip-through, no longer granting foul shots for intentionally hooking limbs to force contact. Durant slyly exploited a gray area, still pocketing 2 points from the resulting field goals. But the cheap trick no longer garnered potent and won opportunities nearly a dozen times a game. Durant's unfair edge vanished overnight. Like Harden, the rule-bearing KD's signature reigned in his ability to manufacture points outside of natural play. Forcing the change secured Durant's reputation, for better or worse, as one of the game's most cunning tacticians. Number 5. Wilt Chamberlain. Of Wilt Chamberlain's countless NBA records, the most points in a game might be the most unfathomable. But his 100-point performance was no fluke. Throughout the 1960s, this offensive clairvoyant towered above the competition to comic proportions. Wilt's superhuman genes gifted him supreme strength and height, combined with guard-like dexterity. Night after night, 20-foot bank shots and finger roll dunks tunneled through nylon as entire teams clung helplessly to stop him. He led, scoring 7 straight years and netting over 4,000 points in 1962. In one season, he averaged 48.5 minutes per game. Yes, more than a regulation game permits, so the league doubled down, enacting 2 pivotal rule changes aimed at slowing Wilt and the few peers reproducing his stats. The widening of the lane from 12 to 16 feet encroached further into Chamberlain's sweet spots near the hoop. They even altered inbounding after making baskets, now allowing players to pass full court. Why? To sneak in more fast break buckets before Wilt barreled back down court. Number 6. Jerry West. Jerry West lived at the foul line, unlike anyone before. His lightning pull-up jumper and mastery of wrong-foot layups broke ankles, frequently sending him sprawling to the hardwood afterward. Critics claimed West had superhuman balance, architecting awkward mid-air shots that forced contact. This combination made West-drawn fouls nearly indefensible. Upending the norm, West frequently shot and made 3-point plays the hard way, on 2 shot-free throw attempts versus a field goal. Through the 1960s, West recorded the highest free throw attempt rate ever, over 1,200 trips to the line in 1965 alone. Frustrated rivals could only attempt to hand check and bump West off his relentless attack routes. Seeing scoring and shooting fouls spike league-wide, the NBA widened the key while legalizing zone defenses in 2001. Challenging isolation scorers like West thrived. He shot 8.5 free throws for his iconic career, still in the top 10 ever, nearly 60 years after his debut. Number 7. LeBron James. LeBron James drives the discourse among the game's great debaters. His all-around brilliance places him firmly in the greatest of all-time conversation, as does his penchant for bulldozing opponents out of his way. His speed and strength resemble an athletic freight train, yet he ships his 6'8", 250 pounds frame down court with precision rivaling career point guards. But James drew headlines in his early Cleveland days for his explosive lower body strength, sending defenders bouncing backwards on drives. The league worried Braun's hard defensive slams tomahawked into balls jars and knees could jeopardize player safety long-term. Among the most legendary facilitators ever, James also weaponized his passing to trick defenders. He mastered skipping bullet cross-court assists at impossible release points, punishing overplaying passing lanes. Teams that denied Bron easy lanes clawed desperately at block attempts, only to get spun and pump faked into bumbling embarrassments. These dilemmas forced the NBA's hand by 2008, eliminating touch fouls for marginal defensive contact during standout offensive plays. Fearing James's rare athleticism endangered others, the league allowed more physicality to battle his prolific scoring. Today, the NBA game features more stiff arms, holds, and hand-checking than in Bron's early years. Had the NBA not intervened, LeBron may have surpassed 40,000 career points. But keeping viewers and superstars safer became priority one, even if it meant constraining the success of talents like LeBron James along the way. We covered transcendent scorers, legendary rebounders, and iconic team leaders, but each man shared one special trait: bending basketball's limits to the breaking point with their singular skills and will. Through unmatched talent or shrewd cunning, they exploited the game until the authorities were forced to respond. Today, we build on the lessons of these icons, masters in their craft, who moved the sport forward against unimaginable odds. The NBA stays a living, evolving enterprise thanks to the stunning skills of true originals and outliers. And with new young stars arriving every year, who knows what unprecedented heights or necessary rule tweaks loom ahead? Who else deserves mention among the sport's most game-breaking talents? Share your picks in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications to never miss another upload. Thanks for watching,